With huge prize money, underdogs and a rejuvenated Ronnie O'Sullivan, it's now time to turn our attention to the semi-finals of the Saudi Arabia Masters. Hello guys, welcome to Daddy and the Don Sports. My name's Phil, and in today's video we're going to look at both semi-finals, predict the finalists, and I'll let you know at the end who I think is going to win the whole tournament. So just before we get into the matches, just a quick look at the four men that are in the semi-finals, and a quick disclaimer: I did not expect either of these men to make it this far. When I did my initial tournament predictions video, I had all four of them going out a round or two earlier, but on reflection, having seen what they've done in the tournaments and the clips that I've seen from each of their performances, I can't have any complaint with either man making it this far. I think they all fully deserve to be here, and all fully deserve a crack at that £500,000 in prize money for the winner. Fantastic opportunity to boost their ranking points in only the second ranking event of the season. As I've said, all four men deserve to be here. Looks maybe a bit one-sided, both semi-finals, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. We're going to have a fantastic couple of games. So first up, Neil Robertson versus Elliot Sleser. Not the semi-final anyone was expecting from this side of the draw, but when you come through a side that contains Judd Trump, John Higgins, Mark Williams and Mark Selby, you've had to perform to get there. You don't get there cheaply. Both men deserve it. Does look slightly one-sided on paper to Neil Robertson, but you're going to look at Elliot Sleser. He's the underdog here. Come through some tough games. I think every single one bar his Ben Mertens game went to this hiding frame. Sort of shows he's had to work harder for his wins. So Neil could be a bit fresher, but you also have to take the positives away that if this does go to a deciding frame, Elliot Sleser has got the temperament and the grit to come through that situation. Could have easily bottled it against Mark Williams. Was 5-2 up, pulled it back to 5-all. And then he got over the line in the deciding frame. Most people would have thought that Williams would have come away there, but he showed a lot of bottle to get the job done. Either way, he's the underdog here. He's got nothing to lose. Win or lose, he's a winner already from the ranking points he's amassed. I think Neil has had a slightly easier run, not in terms of opponent, but in terms of being in control of his games. He's obviously played a couple of games less because of the entry point he had into the fifth round. But he's always been in control of those games, and he's got through quite comfortably. No disrespect to Sleser, but this is a dream semi-final if you're Neil Robertson. He wins this, he wins the tournament, he's basically knocking on the top 5 in the world for the updated ranking points. But just getting to the final would just cement his top 10 position properly for another season. Sleser, if he was to get to the final, he'd be pushing close to a top 16. But either way, he's going to be comfortably around the top 20 now. I think Neil Robertson does get the job done here, and he comes through in a 6-3 win. Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Chris Wakeland next, and both have had their dramas along the way to get into this point. But one-sided on paper, I tend to agree with that narrative as well. Ronnie, fantastic opening game, 5-0 whitewash of Joe O'Connor, who was a bit below par himself, gave him chances, but 5-0 nevertheless is no mean feat. His other two games though, he was 5-2 and 5-3 behind, pulled off miracle escapes. Drama is what they love about Ronnie, but I will emphasise he is missing shots. He is running out of position a lot. Yes, the 50s are there, yes, the centuries are there, but the guys are giving him multiple chances. When you give someone like Ronnie O'Sullivan multiple chances, he won't play bad for the entire frame. He will wake up and he will pop balls. A poor Ronnie O'Sullivan is still better than the majority of the field, but if you put it on him, you don't give him those second chances, cracks will appear and you will have success. I think beating Curran Wilson is the most notable result since he came back at the Worlds. I think Curran Wilson was the last person that could stand in his way here. think everyone else is beatable and will give him second looks. Looking at Chris Wakeland, he's done well with the guys he's faced. Obviously had a fairly easy first game. Beat the defending world champion in the second one. Final frame decider. And then a complete slog against Barry Hawkins. That was a tough watch. I think the only thing that could go in Chris's favour here is if that bogs Ronnie down. If it does become a slog, we know Ronnie doesn't like long games. He likes to try and finish in style, play quickly. Not saying that Chris would go out of his way to make it a negative game, but he does tend to be that sort of player when it gets cagey. And I also don't really see a narrative where Chris Wakeland clears up in one visit that many times. So I think even if Ronnie plays a bit poor, Wakeland will give him multiple looks. And as I said, you don't give the Rocket multiple looks and expect to win games. So I think Ronnie wins this one. There won't be any drama or late comebacks in this one. He'll win this one 6-3 as well. So that would leave Neil Robertson versus Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final. And after backing against him for pretty much the entire tournament, I'm going to change my mind here and say that the Rocket will win this one fairly comfortably, and he will be your 2025 Saudi Arabia Masters champion. So that was my prediction for the Saudi Arabia Masters. Please let me know in the comments section your thoughts on this tournament, if you agree or disagree with anything I've said. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next video.